What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on my channel. A lot has happened since my last video. Again, I apologize. I haven't had much chance to get a video out. This has been really difficult recently. I've been wanting to every time something happens, but there is a bit of a timeline today. So, you know, 4 games, transfer market deadlines, lots of talking points. So I'll get straight into it. I guess we'll start at where I left off. So last time I made a video was the 3-0 win over Chelsea. Going to be the highlight of the year, I think. And we move on against Barnsley in the Cup, and we win 3-1. They had a penalty missed. Could have made it 2-2, but overall, we get the dub with our second team, and we looked quite decent. I still thought the second team still looked all right, and the system still worked. And yeah, I thought it was a decent win in the end. And we keep the unbeaten roll going and bring some confidence into Brighton on that weekend. As you guys know, lose 1-0 against Brighton away. Probably didn't deserve anything from the game. Sinistero could have made it 1-1. But on the play of things, I think it would have been rough. And look, football isn't fair. But I think if we had got a point out of the game, I do think that would have been pretty rough on Brighton in the end. So get our first loss of the season, but it is what it is. And Brighton are a very good team. They won 5-2 on the weekend, just like we lost 5-2. But we'll get onto that. And I think the biggest thing is we started to see the decline in the defense. Offensively, we didn't look as great against Brighton, but we have looked good since. So I don't think it's an offensive thing. I think we've seen a decline defensively, and we saw Llorente make some mistakes in that game, in which we moved on to Everton. Now, losing the game 1-0 down to a Llorente mistake, we draw 1-1. It was a pretty boring game in the way that Everton just got the goal, and they just sat 11 blokes behind the ball and hoped to God they didn't concede again. We looked like we struggled to break down a low block like we did in the Championship. And we didn't have the players to unlock a defence there. Again, probably should have won the game. Probably deserved a point overall. I think it was a fair result. Only because, we were so poor, or Llorente was so poor at the back, and it's frustrating because while we didn't lose, it's a weird place to be in. So I'm trying to put my thoughts into words. So 8 points after 5 games. And I think it was a stat like 98% of teams that have got 8 points after 5 games stay up. Now, we know what Leeds United are like and bucking trends and, being that loving to break a streak, and will be that one team that goes down with 8 points after 5 games. That 2%, you can almost guarantee that Leeds will be the one that goes in there and breaks that record. We love breaking a record that goes against us, or goes for the other team. And we pick up a point, and we start to see a bit of a starting to see a bit of a trend there defensively. Then we come to this weekend. And obviously, the transfer window closing happened, but I'll get to that after. So we'll speak about that separately. We go against Brentford, and we concede early. Whether it's a pen or not, I'm not too sure. I think they took so long to make a decision. In that case, does that mean that it's, without a doubt that it is a pen? Well, no. If they've made a certain call, asked to check the screen, and then they decide that it isn't a pen, or it is a pen, that call should be done a lot earlier. If they have to check the screen 3 times, the ref should just go, no, I'm keeping it as it is. The refs bottled it a little bit and gone with the person in VAR, whoever that may be, which seems to be a bit of a trend, although there was another game where the referee stuck with his on-field decision. But it's hard to want to go against, and I understand if you put yourself in the shoes of the referee, you don't want to put yourself in a place where you could lose your job over it, or get demoted, because they do get demoted and promoted. So ref bottles it, and that's fine. From there, we conceded again. I think we conceded again to make it 2-0, a free kick, which was a bit of a soft free kick, but Ivan Toney puts it in the top corner, and it was a great free kick, to be fair. We claw our way back in the game. Sinisterra scores before half-time, and if he had scored in the against Brighton, he would have scored in every game so far. Very good finish. He could have smashed that, but he placed it really, really well. Great finish. Sinisterra looks decent. I'm happy with that signing. We then proceed to bottle it further. I think it makes it 3-1. We score again with Mark Rocker. He had a goal chalked off earlier. So 3-2. And then continuous defensive shambles, and we end up losing somehow 5-2. Away, but you should never lose 5-2, really, and not against Brentford. This Llorente should never put a lead shot on again. I'm sorry. That was so shambolic, and it's been coming. This has been coming, but that was the worst defensive display. He was making mistakes I wouldn't make on a Sunday league game. There is games that I wouldn't do that. Like pushing forward, going to the ball when there's already somebody there, ball goes over the top, bang, gone. Like, it's just dumb. It's just dumb defending. And it brings me on to the transfer market now. Didn't sign a left back. We've got Stroik playing left back. Who? Yep, he's playing all right. That's fine. That's not the problem. The problem is we have Llorente playing centre back, and he was a shambles. We're now saying get Cooper in, who we know Cooper probably isn't up to the standard, and he's a backup centre back. We sent Creswell out on loan, so our best up and coming prospect isn't here. We've got to rely on Cooper, who, let's be honest, is error prone as well. While I think he's a better defender, he's also error prone. He has that brain fart in him. We've got Llorente, who is just a walking brain fart. And the two side centre backs, Stroik and Koch, can't start together because you got Stroik playing left back because you didn't have the bollocks to sign a left back. Then, on top of that, so that's just one compiling thing. We rest our laurels and say we don't want to sign another striker because we don't want to block Gelhardt's progression. I can appreciate that. But when the trend is that Bamford's not going to play, and to be fair, hasn't played well. I know he hasn't got a run of games going, but hasn't played well in pre-season. Didn't play that well up until he got injured. Come back, didn't play that well today against Brentford, I don't think. Missed a sitter. You had Rodrigo, who was an attacking midfielder, played up front, played a blinder. Said Rodrigo will do until Bamford and Gelhardt get back, because Gelhardt's been injury prone only because I think he's just got growing pains. And he's young, and that happens. So now you've got two strikers out, you rely on Rodrigo, he gets injured, and you start freaking out. And trying to sign anybody you can sign. You go after Diaz, you go after Gakpo, you're going after bloody whoever else they were putting offers in for. There was Gakpo, there was Gakpo, I think even, there was Diaz, Gakpo, and a few others. They didn't want to come to us. They all said no. We thought we would waltz in, even though Gakpo's had plenty of offers from Man United and Southampton, blah, blah, blah. We thought we'd just walk in because apparently we're Leeds United and we're massive. And while I believe that, you've got to think of it from Gakpo's point of view. He's probably thinking, well, you didn't want to pay for me before. We waltz in, put something down. PSV said, no, don't worry about it. Gakpo said, don't want to come to you. And we're left in a position where we're now missing a striker. And Bamford plays but doesn't play very well. This is really frustrating. And I want you guys to let me know in the comments below, because it's a bit of a rant, this one. I haven't made a video for 2 weeks and I'm feeling like I need to rant about it. Because I count that as negligence against the board now. What was a great window where you signed all these players in the first 3 or 4 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, and then didn't make a single signing until you brought Gnonto in, which Jesse Marsh has said that anyone that comes in that's 18 like that is for the 23s. So now we've got a squad full of strikers in the 23s. We've got fucking 11 strikers. And now he's talking about blocking Gelhardt. Well, now you're blocking Perkins. You're blocking Joseph, you're blocking all these players we signed to bring in, and you got Gnonto in, which I do think he looks very, very good. Isn't that blocking Gelhardt? Because if he brains the 23s, or he's on the bench for the senior squad and plays better than Gelhardt, you just block Gelhardt. So you've done exactly what you said you weren't going to do. The logic doesn't seem to be lining up. And in the comment, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. But it just doesn't line up. None of it lines up. And it's another window where I feel like they've bottled it. They were going so well. It was looking like at least a B rating for a transfer window. It is now an E, because we needed a striker and a left back, especially when people got injured. I'm hating the fact that Rodrigo got injured, but part of me is sort of like, haha, get that up. Yeah, that's what you deserve for being so negligent. And it put them on their ass for the last few days. They had to try and struggle to find a striker. I've got no sympathy. Such a poor effort. Look, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to go too much into it. It's frustrating, but also we do have 8 points after 6 games, but losing 5-2 to Brentford is just not good enough. We've improved the squad since last year. We won 3-2, and then we can go there and get beat 5-2. Like, just so frustrating. Because I don't like, while Brentford are alright, I don't think they're that good. Not 5-2 good anyway. But yeah, sorry again for not getting a video out, but I appreciate you sticking with me and not unsubscribe or anything. And yeah, leave your comments in the comment section below. It's a bit late even from the Brentford game, but you know, better late than never. And I'll get some more videos out this week, hopefully, when I get a chance during some of my lunch breaks. But yeah, let me like, comment, subscribe. Peace.